Oo, yan naman ang sinasabi ko eh. It's all, these are all political attacks. From the attack from the left on the confidential funds, the meeting with the Speaker of the House of Representatives, and the attack on the budget, and the other attacks that you see in social media. So these are all directed to remove me from the race, yes, and then of course remove me from office. That needs a sit down. Ay, naku. So talaga, sasabihin ko sa'yo, you know, paano ko nalaman na gusto ni, na plano or gusto ni Martin Romualdez na mag-president? Ay, naku. Talaga. Sasabihin ko sa'yo. And it is personal knowledge. Kasi narinig ko talaga. I was there. So, kaya alam ko sa simula pa lang, nung narinig ko yun, okay. Wala lang din sa akin yon. Kasi lahat naman pwedeng tumakbong presidente. Diba? Ang hindi ko lang in-expect, yung gagamitin mo yung buong gobyerno para sirain yung isang tao. Yan din. Kailangan magdesisyon ng taong bayan. Gusto niyo ba ng Vice President Martin Romualdez? Yan ang tanong. Kasi, yan naman kasi talaga yung plano niya. So, kailangan mag-decide ng taong bayan if you want somebody sitting there na hindi ninyo binoto. Yes, ma'am. I'm not being evasive. If you are referring to the to the budget hearing and the hearings in the House of Representatives, I'm not being evasive. I am not answering the questions because they have no authority to ask confidential questions. I am answering questions about the use of the money in the Commission on Audit. And there is no, you ask the Commission on Audit if there was anything at all that they can say or see that we are not cooperative with the audit. So it is wrong to say that I am evasive. I am definitely not answering questions about the use of the fund, about confidential funds, because it pertains to national security and the lives of the people involved in intelligence operations. And yes, as I said, we have fully cooperated with the audit process of the Commission on Audit, who has the sole jurisdiction to ask questions about the use of confidential funds. In fact, 2 quarters of the Department of Education are already cleared by the Commission on Audit, but it is still being questioned inside the committee in the House of Representatives. So that is the reason why I am not answering questions from the House of Representatives. Plus the fact that, as I said, it is an attack. It is a political attack. If you are in aid of legislation and you want to legislate about confidential funds, you do not target one office and terrorize and torment the employees of that office. What you do is you do a sampling, a random sampling of the offices who have confidential funds. Why not call the office of the president, who has billions and billions of confidential funds, if you want to legislate about confidential funds? So that shows that they're singling out the office of the vice president. And I really feel that it's very disrespectful to the office of the vice president. That is also why when they ask that I respect their process, respect begets respect. So if they want respect, they should first respect the office of the vice president. That is what I was saying, that they don't like me. They don't like my person. They don't like Inday Sara Duterte, but they have to respect the office of the vice president. So if they want to investigate confidential funds, they don't single out one office.
I understand, ma'am. VP, just a follow-up. As in yesterday or the other day, The House also alleges that over 400 names na nag-cite on acknowledgement receipts. Again, on the issue of the confidential funds, wala daw pong records at the DSA. Baka ma'am, you could offer an explanation because we know that this is a legal proceeding, pero pinag-uusapan po siya ngayon ma'am sa bahay ng bawat Pilipino. Kaya explanation if this is above board or bakit wala silang birth certificate ma'am.
No, I will not explain. I will not give an explanation because it will entail that I explain intelligence operations which will compromise officers who do intelligence operations. It will really compromise how they work. So no explanation will be given to the members of the House of Representatives.
One final follow-up for me, ma'am. Then what's your response to accusations that an office like the DepEd and the OVP have no jurisdiction naman to have these confidential funds that are spent for national security?
Well, the confidential funds was the first transfer of confidential funds was from the office, from the contingent funds to the office of the Vice President, and this was approved by the office of the President. The next year confidential funds was 2023. We submitted it to the Department of Budget and Management. It was approved by the Department of Budget and Management, and therefore it implies that it was approved by the office of the President because it was included in the National Expenditure Program, the NEP. So, and then it was approved by Congress as well. The only reason why we did not use the confidential funds in the fourth quarter for both offices because I was already flagged by a friend inside the House of Representatives that they will attack you using confidential funds. So yes, it was duly approved by the Office of the President and both houses of Congress as well as because it was included in the General Appropriations Act. So it was not, we presented it, we defended it, they approved it. We used it, and then the question on utilization is under the Commission on Audit. That is how the system works. They cannot use or they cannot twist the system according to their personal interests. Really, all these circumstances and events happening surrounding the office of the Vice President is a race to the presidential election in 2028. Unfortunately, they are attacking the office as well. So, dyan ako medyo, and the personnel of the office of the Vice President. So, dyan ako medyo pumapalag. Wala namang problema kung atakihin ninyo ako. Kasi politiko naman talaga ako. Pero may problema ako pag inatake yung opisina at yung mga kasamahan ko dito sa opisina ng pangalawang Pangulo na nagtatrabaho lang.
Next question for you. Al Jazeera.
Good afternoon, Madam. Good afternoon, Madam Vice President. I'm just going to pick up on Mara's line of questioning. You said, and I understand your explanation about these confidential funds haven't been approved by several layers in the government. But maybe just to go back to the basics, if you can explain to ordinary Filipinos why the Office of the Vice President needs confidential intelligence funds.
Okay. Yes. For the Office of the Vice President, it's not the first time that the office was granted confidential funds. During the time of Vice President Binay, the office was already given confidential funds. The confidential funds we use in relation to our work and national security. all the projects and the programs of the Office of the Vice President target poverty alleviation. There is a direct correlation between poverty and national security. So what we do is we want to target the areas where we put our projects so that we achieve peace and order, security. So we don't want to our projects put in areas where it is not needed for poverty alleviation. So we want to prioritize the areas. And the only way to do that is to use confidential funds to purchase information. So where are the target areas? We need that so that our projects will serve these areas. So that's why we needed the confidential funds. In the Department of Education, there is a correlation as well of the education and national security. In fact, that is one of there is a correlation as well of education and national security. There are so many threats to education, not just insurgency, and threats to Department of Education personnel and students as well. And we wanted to target projects of the Department of Education as well in the most vulnerable areas and schools. That is why we needed confidential funds. It's all about national security. And the position of the Office of the Vice President and the Department of Education is that national security is a holistic concept. It's not just one, like territorial defense, sovereignty. No, national security is about food security. It's about quality of education. It's about poverty alleviation and everything else that we need to do as a country to get us out of this poverty rut.
But you are in the NTF-LCAP, so couldn't have your offices work with the NTF-LCAP as well as other government agencies that actually have national security mandates?
In the NDF-LCAP, they are only about ano yung meaning ng LCAP? And local armed conflict.
And local community armed conflict.
And local, there, LCAP. So that is very specific to that local conflict and communism. So as I said, the projects and the programs of OVP target poverty alleviation, and there's so many factors affecting poverty. And there are so many threats to education, not just insurgency.
But there are also other government agencies with national security mandates that you can work with, your offices can work with.
Yes, that is true, but we work far faster if we are allowed to purchase information and target our projects immediately on the certain school or certain barangay or certain municipality. We move faster if we can target our projects.
Okay. Going back to the confidential funds, that was also about confidential funds, but the names that are being verified by the Philippine Statistics Authority, I know you said that you can't explain because they're confidential in nature, but maybe just a yes or no, because other names have cropped up, aside from Mary Grace Diablos, we have Chippy McDonald, Fernando Tempora, Carlos Oishi, Raymunda Nova. These were mentioned in a column in the Philippine Star, and Joel Chua, Congressman Joel Chua was quoted. Are yes or no, are these code names?
Nakalimutan ko yung sagot ko. Sandali. I cannot explain confidential funds because it will entail explaining intelligence operations. And there is a law that prohibits officials who gathered information because of their office to divulge it in public. So it's the Anti-Graft and Corrupt Practices Act. There is a specific provision of law. You cannot divulge confidential information that you received while in office.
So you won't even say these are
No, that because
code names.
that will add to cases that may be filed against me.
One last, sorry.
Yes.
Why the choice of a letter submitted to the NBI instead of an affidavit?
Wait, hold on. I can answer. I can give you a very short answer with regard to ARs. I had nothing to do with the preparation of ARs. It went down to the grassroots level. So I had nothing to do with preparations of ARs. I was up here in the structure and money went down for information.
So you have no knowledge why all these names were used in the acknowledgement receipts?
In the first place, we do not even know if these are ARs which came from DepEd or OVP to COA, because there's a chain of evidence supposedly. In law, there's a chain of evidence, handling of evidence. So right now, nobody can really answer that because nobody knows if these ARs are true. Because we don't know if it came from us.
That's what they're saying. That's what they're alleging.
Yes, that's what they're
ARs came
saying.
from the OVP submitted to COA.
Yes, but there is a legal process in the custody of evidence. So right now, we really cannot say if the ARs came from us. Because the ARs that are with us has not been checked with the ARs that are with them.
You're denying that the ARs came
No,
from
I'm just saying that we do not even know if the ARs with us are the ARs that are with them. Because the ARs from the field, going to the office, going to COA, that's not how you do legal work. It's not how you do legal work. There's a very stringent process in evidence. That is why even if there is no law prohibiting a person from divulging confidential information, person cannot answer that because we do not know if that paper that they're holding was the paper that came from the OVP and DepEd. Because there was no marking of exhibits. That was what I was telling Congressman Chua. You cannot ask the OVP personnel to say yes or no to an exhibit that was not marked as real and true, as correct, and as a faithful reproduction of the evidence of the office.
So would your offices then be willing to certify?
No, because there is no question about that from the Commission on Audit. It's only a congressman saying that this paper and asking what is this paper about. There is no case. And that is to ask that about the paper is the sole jurisdiction of the Commission on Audit.
Okay. So then if the Commission on Audit asks,
That is what I was saying. We have been fully cooperative with the Commission on Audit. Everything that they asked for, we submitted. That is why there was a partial disallowance only. And even then, we are not yet finished with the process because we can still submit documents that are required by the Commission on Audit. That is the problem right now. As I said, they are doing work that they are not that is not under the mandate of the House of Representatives. They cannot audit. They cannot question at all. They cannot make me answer and say that we represent the taxpayers and you have to answer. No, I will only answer to the Commission on Audit because that is the body who can ask us questions about the fund use.
Next question, Katumingo, Ebidensya.
Good afternoon, ma'am. Ma'am, on the issue of your budget not being reinstated or restored, your reaction first on the decision of the bicameral conference committee.
Well, we do not expect anything about the budget of the Office of the Vice President anymore. As I said, before I was saying that I am not the problem. I've been saying that I am not the problem. The problem of the Philippines is kahirapan, kagutuman, corruption, and all the other peace and order issues. But it is clear right now that they consider me as the problem already. So I will not help them solve the problem.
Ma'am, a follow-up question. It's nearly January already. Your office will be filing a new budget request for 2026. How much do you intend to ask from Congress for 2026?
We've not discussed that. We need to wait for the budget call because the budget call outlines the rules of your proposal for budget for your office. So we need to read the budget call before we can sit down and discuss a budget proposal for the Office of the Vice President.
Ma'am, but top of mind, are you still considering to hike the 733 million, or will you be happy operating on the same expenses in 2026?
I cannot answer that because there are rules. They usually put conditions in the budget call, and we really need to read the budget call to draft a proposed budget.
Last two questions.
Just to follow up on the budget, in the previous interviews, you said that you cannot give a definite answer on what will happen with regards to your satellite offices, given that the budget was not final at that time. But given that the BICAM already decided not to reinstate your original proposal of 2 billion, what will happen to your satellite offices? There are around, I think, 10 satellite offices across the country.
Yes. We have to see if we can continue with the projects that they are implementing. We need to see if the projects are still there, and then if they can still implement the projects. So that is something that we have to discuss with the execom of the Office of the Vice President.
Nandun po ba yung possibility of shutdown? And then ano po yung nasabihan na po ba yung mga affected personnel just in case na mag-shutdown nga itong mga satellite offices?
Galing sa central office ng Office of the Vice President, wala kaming sinabi sa kanila. Pero since nababasa naman nila sa media yung nangyayari sa budget, I am sure that they are preparing themselves as well.
Good afternoon, Christian. Gustavo. Ma'am, it was mentioned before na po-pull out yung security nyo at papalitan. Meron na po bang update dito? Tsaka sumulat po ba kayo sa your
Yes, wala pang update doon sa pull-out and replacement. Nag-aantay kami sa Armed Forces of the Philippines kung kailan nila gagawin yon. Yes, nagpadala ako ng letter sa Chief of Staff ng Armed Forces of the Philippines. Meron lang akong mga nilatag doon na mga requests. Pinakauna doon is hindi na kami tatanggap, hindi na ako tatanggap ng replacements. So kung magtanggal sila, hindi na nila i-replace. Iwan na lang nila kung ano yung maiwan. And kung wala mang maiwan dahil tatanggalin nila lahat, I already said that I will seek security arrangements outside of the Armed Forces of the Philippines already.
Parang mag-outsource na kayo. I mean, kasi normally naman, di ba, pag Vice President, may naka-designate dyan from the AFP, from the PNP. So, dahil nga, yun nga, may pull out. And so, ang plano nyo para mag-outsource pa ng kayo?
Yes, we are exploring private security services. Yes. So, my husband, ma'am. Huh?
Would that be construed as a private?
No, because there are professional security services. So that's not considered as a private army. And I do not know if these individuals are allowed to bring guns. So that makes them less of an army, ma'am, kung wala silang baril. Hindi ko alam yung sa professional security services. But that is one option that we are preparing for in case there is a pull out of the entire security detail from the Armed Forces of the Philippines. Initially, I asked my husband, and then he said that he'll make arrangements.
Out of pocket, ma'am. How much are you estimating for that?
Well, wala pa kaming we have not requested for proposals yet from service providers. We have not requested a proposal yet. So, but I think only Filipino organizations or agencies are allowed that kind of service within the Philippines. I think, Mama. I do not know. But I know that they are Filipinos, yes.
Do you feel secure?
No, I don't.
Children?
No, ma'am. No. But, no, I do not feel secure. As I said, that there's always been bias because when we see, say for example, DOJ, iniimbestigahan nila yung press con. Pero hindi nila iniimbestigahan kung bakit kami umabot doon sa press con na yon. Iniimbestigahan nila ang threat ko, no? Pero they've not ever investigated threats against me, which are all documented, but we do not give them the information because we don't trust them at all.
Last two questions, Red, and from you.
Ma'am, kasi sabi po ni ng mga congressman po, ma'am, kasi parang contrived lang daw yung threat ninyo. Parang it's just an imaginary threat. Like for example, si Asidre nagsabi na imaginary daw yung threat ninyo, unlike doon sa sinasabi na threat daw, yung inyong threat to the First Family and Speaker Romuald. So what's your take on this po? Kasi parang dinidismiss po ng mga congressman na kayo po ay nagkaroon ng threat sa inyong buhay. Parang sinasabi nila, hindi naman, parang imaginary lang yung threat ni Vice President as opposed to sa sinabi niya doon sa press conference. What's your take on this?
Yes, we have documents, sir. We have screen caps, we have photos, we have police blotters, we have everything on file. But I never talked about it before because I felt na it was part of my job as Vice President. You get that? Aba? So, and it does not affect my work. So, all the more that it was inconsequential for me at the time. But right now, seeing that they are picking out words that I said and making a case out of it and saying that these are threats. So I think they should start with, where is this coming from? That is the question that they should ask themselves. But I don't think they'll ever ask that of themselves. So we'll just move on to the cases and the impeachment and whatever will come in the new year.
Do you regret saying or making such threat to the President and the First Lady and the Speaker?
No, ma'am. Buti na yung alam nila, ma'am, na pag namatay ako, hindi talaga ako, I will not die in vain.
You mentioned the 2028 presidential elections, that all of the attacks of the Marcos government now is all connected to 2028. But the last time, a sitting vice president, a very popular sitting vice president, was investigated for corruption allegations and refused to respond in the public forum, natalo po siya sa elections. And I'm referring to former Vice President Judge Marbinay. Ma'am, are you concerned that your enemies would be able to turn public opinion against you, and it will hurt any potential plans of you running for president. You're leading surveys as early as now.
Oh, I've not seen the recent surveys, but yes, that is what they are trying to do, turn public opinion. That is the strategy. But yes. So, yes, that is what they are trying to do, turn public opinion. That is a common strategy in politics. Black propaganda and everything. Will it hurt my chances? I'm not yet a candidate. So, right now, I am just the Vice President of the Republic of the Philippines and working for the country. So, I am not yet a candidate, so I do not know if this will affect me. Maybe my decision in 2026 will consider what is happening right now, but I cannot really say with finality what will be the considerations for me to decide to run for president. As I said, just give me the last quarter of 2026. I think that is the best time for any presidential candidate to decide to run.
Ma'am, pero isip po ma'am, kasi ito, lumalabas yung keyword ngayon, binibinay. Para kayong ginagawang binay yung task for former Vice President J.J. Marbil. You think po ma'am, binibinay kayo ngayon kasi malakas kayo ngayon this survey and possibly tinutukod nila kayo para mawala yung political clout ninyo sa 2028?
Yes, oo, yan naman ang sinasabi ko eh. It's all, these are all political attacks. From the attack from the left on the confidential funds, the meeting with the Speaker of the House of Representatives, and the attack on the budget, and the other attacks that you see in social media. So these are all directed to remove me from the race, yes, and then of course remove me from office. Ay, that needs a sit down. Ay, naku. O talaga. Sasabihin ko sa'yo, you know, paano ko nalaman na gusto ni, na plano or gusto ni Martin Romualdez na mag-president? Ay, naku. Halaga. Sasabihin ko sa'yo. And this is personal knowledge. Kasi narinig ko talaga. I was there. So, kaya alam ko sa simula pa lang, nung narinig ko yun, okay. Wala lang din sa akin yon. Kasi lahat naman pwedeng tumakbong presidente. Diba? Ang hindi ko lang in-expect, yung gagamitin mo yung buong gobyerno para sirain yung isang tao. Yan din. Kailangan magdesisyon ng taong bayan. Gusto niyo ba ng Vice President Martin Romualdez? Yan ang tanong. Kasi, yan naman kasi talaga yung plano niya. So, kailangan mag-decide ng taong bayan if you want somebody sitting there na hindi ninyo binoto.
Are you determined to stay as Vice President? Sir, ma'am, are you determined to stay as Vice President?
No, I'm at peace. I'm at peace with whatever happens to me.